Tired of working in the heat? Well, cool your shop down with a DIY mini split from Mr. Cool. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. I think I'm going to talk through this restoration. This one should be relatively quick. Where this came from was a previous video. So I bought a bucket at a garage sale and picked up a whole bucket full of rusty stuff. There was an excellent video on it. I restored almost everything in it, but I pulled this out and set it aside because it was a really cool knife. And I'll put a link right now, and I want you to save that in another video because that, I think it's got like 2.5, I don't even know how many million views it has. It's a really good restoration. Anyway, this one was a little special. It was a special knife, and I pulled it out to save it and restore it, and it's been a couple of years and I haven't done that. So we're going to go ahead and restore this, and I got a buddy, Adam Booth, who is an awesome machinist. He has a really, really good channel. Channel's called ABomb79, and you guys can go subscribe to that, link in the description. But he also has a second channel, and Adam loves barbecue. And so he's been a real big supporter of the Good Old Land Fest and the Good Old Land channel. He's an awesome guy. I really, really like him. And he's like my machining instructor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bad boy and restore it for Adam so that he can use it for his barbecue. Look at that. We got wiggle. This is fun, guys. I never like hang out with you and talk like this. Oh, what do we got going on here? Is it going to unscrew? It's unscrewing! Oh no, it's not unscrewing. It's a freaking nail. Oh, see, I don't like that. So it doesn't go all the way through. The tang probably stops somewhere around here. Well, let's see if we can pull her apart. This may be wedged up pretty tight, or it may just decide to come off. This came off relatively easy, so I think our best bet is just to kind of grab it. Give it a little wiggle. Now, I'm not letting the knife blade go into my hand here, obviously. I'm just kind of holding it like that with my fingers. In a situation like this, what you want to do is you want to clean the runway, right? So we want to clean all this stuff up. And that way it's not pushing it through. So we'll just grab some sandpaper real quick, clean it up. Alright, and a little knocker loose would do good here too. Just not sure if that's some kind of composite yet or not. And it looks like it may be, I'm sure there's some turkey juice in there too, but it could be composite. Let's just work it off. There we go. You see how once I passed over this spot to the spot I sanded, it just popped all the way off? Just a little pre-clean will do. Okay, and then we're left with our blade. Cool little blade. Really, really like it. So this has a distal taper, right? So it tapers all the way down to very thin on this side. And it's a perfect taper. This is a great knife. This is going to be a really, really nice slicer. So this would be a carving knife, what you would use on your turkey. If you're smoking some turkey, and A-Bomb loves to smoke some turkey, as well as possibly a brisket, like a small brisket knife. It's not real big, so you're going to want to use the angle of the knife when you're cutting through your brisket, as opposed to most brisket knives are straight, right? They're a nice long, maybe 14, 16-inch straight knife, at least 12 inches, and they just cut straight down like that. Whereas this one, you're going to have to, boom, draw it across. Now, we can make this sharp enough to where you don't have to do a sawing action because it is so thin. This thing will be a razor blade. So what we're doing here is kind of drawing an imaginary line through the center of this to make sure that there's enough meat to drill this. Because my second option is we're going to TIG weld on another piece, and then we're going to thread that, and then slide it on, and then build a cap for the end of this. I think that would look kind of neat. Some kind of cool little finial or who knows what. I love this handle though, so cool. I really almost don't even want to do anything to it because it's so unique. Maybe we'll lighten it up a tiny bit. I just don't know. I'm going to do some thinking on that. It's like this crack. I don't want to take the crack out, right? What I want to do is highlight the crack. I want to highlight its age. Now, we don't want a crack to be there. We want to fill it with something, but I want it to be something that kind of even makes the crack look bigger and brighter. So we'll figure that out too. Okay, we got our setup here. Magnet's working good, and the first thing we want to do is just remove the rust scale with just a simple wire brush. Okay, I want to point out a tip right here. So anytime you're using any tool that rotates, what you want to do is always rotate it off, right? If we came in here and caught the edge of this, it'll rip this knife out of our hand. It's just something that you need to look out for. Okay guys, I can see a logo and I'm really excited about it. It's Revenok. Really, really cool. So there's a lot of history about this company. They're an old company and they made a lot of different stuff. Actually, they were, it's HSB and Company, and they were taken over by True Value Hardware Store. So very, very neat. So that changes this. Originally I wanted to bring this up to like kind of a polish and make it like super nice and more, because I felt like it was a little more modern than it is. It's actually quite old. So that means to me, before this thing was chunked in a bucket and brought to a garage sale and then left there and then brought to the next year's garage sale, that's how the Highway 80 sale works, this thing was actually a nice knife, more than likely. So we're going to try to treat this knife a little with a little more kindness. So we're going to be very gentle with it, and we're gonna kind of leave a patina on there if we can. So originally my plan was to start at about 320 grit. Now I'm changing that, and we're only going to be using high grit, like 800 and above, and that's going to help us to maintain some of the texture in here and some of the age. Honestly, I even feel weird about doing that. So we may go with a really hard block and just knock the top down. These are the tough choices. Tough choices. Okay, so here's a pretty basic stag. Sold for a whopping $5. And there you can see it a little more clearly. And now you can also see the points. I'm like all the rust pits and everything. We're gonna leave those in. This is gonna be a cool knife regardless. So we're gonna try to just gently take this down. In fact, I've got some precision 600 grit stones. We may go ahead and start with those and run them across the surface. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Okay, we're gonna line it up on our mag chuck, flip her on, and let her pull it into place. See if we got somewhat of a balance. Bring her back. Well, she's got a little curve to her. That's okay. That's in the knife. It's really cool. Just gonna hit it with a little light coat of oil using knocker loose. You can use whatever you want. That allows me to really feel. I can feel where it's chunky. Now we're going real gentle here. We're not trying to remove material. All we're doing is cleaning off that top surface. And the remainder of the rust that the wire wheel didn't take off. And we're using a 600 grit stone. Very, very light pressure. Weight of the stone, really. And I'm not washing the junk away. All I'm doing is just hitting it with a little oil. Sharp edges, we'll knock those down a little bit. So this feels nice and smooth, right? Like I can run this across. Let me get the mic up here. Listen. Hear that difference? So that's what I'm knocking off, just those high rust spots. A little more knock a loose. Okay, feels good. It's as far as we want to take it. So I've got the thin super fast star bond. And what I'm going to do, stuff is really good about like getting in and just kind of locking everything into place. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in here on that side. Make sure it doesn't get on my silver. It's very important. And then we're going to put a little bit on this side. And what that's going to do, it's going to kind of go in there like a matrix and lock everything together. So that'll be as hard as stone after we're done. That's great. That's what we want to see, guys. See, it just sucks right in there. That is fantastic. Okay, so we're going to be able to preserve the look of this handle and get a little sheen to it as well. Superfast CA is used to infiltrate hairline cracks and pores through capillary action, stabilizing fragile wood and stone for a high gloss finish. We're going to start with some 400 and just give it a light little rub. And there's a lot of texture in this, so we're staying on top. That should give us more texture in the finish. Now the area I want to focus on is just right here at the top. And I'm fading it. So this whole thing will get darker, but this spot will be light, right where the palm of your hand would grab. I think that's going to give us a cool look. So that's after our sanding. We're going to leave all those little nicks in there. Oh, I'm even going to leave the crack. I like it. I like it a lot. So we just have some alcohol here. And getting all the grime off of it. I'm just going to stick a piece of brass in here. Give myself a handle. What you're going to see is this will just suck it all in. As it pulls it in, I just go over it again until it stops. It's going to leave a little bit on the surface, and that's what you want. It takes a lot of CA, but what a cool piece. Okay, so our Bakelite has dried right here, but we need to even all this out. So what we're going to do is use our thick CA glue, and it will stand up just fine. Put a little drop there. Hit it with the activator. A little drop here. Well, it's hard to squeeze this bottle. It's so thick, it shakes. There you go. It's not Parkinson's, guys. Maybe, maybe not. This is a case where more is better, so go above it, because we will remove it. Okay, we can remove our brass stick now, and coating looks really good. I think we'll go ahead and fill this crack with some thick, and that should do it, just like we did with the other knife. Should give it a cool little look, but also it won't remove it. So here's the medium thick. I haven't used this yet. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Harden her up. Beautiful. I love it. When we sand that, it'll be clear. It'll be closed off, but it'll be clear. Nice. I'll show you what that'll look like. For those of you that haven't seen this knife. This is the one where I showed how they fake restorations. And these were all cracked, multiple pieces. Put it back together, and that is the heavy Starbond. Looks really neat. Well, while I'm waiting for stuff to dry, looking at this blade, it's uniformed as far as the corrosion on here. And what I'd like to see in the finish would be that this kind of tapers down a little bit and it gets lighter at the bottom. So we want like dark at the top, light at the bottom. I've got these little Scotch-Brite pads here. They're made by 3M, and these are super fluffy, right? So this is a very, very fine grit, and this is super fluffy, and I'm going to run it down this side right here, and it should give us that transition. So we didn't remove any material, we just kind of cleaned up inside. Now we'll hit that again with a little bit of a light polish. Should be good to go. Alright, so we got our piece. We're going to start polishing it up. We're going to start sanding it down. So anything that had like a little gap to it, I went ahead and filled it with a medium to give the handle a nice smooth finish. You won't really be able to see it when it's done, but you will be able to feel how smooth the knife is in your hand. So I've got some 180 grit, and I have it wrapped around my 600 grit stone, and all these high spots here, I'm just going to work those down. You want to block right here, and the reason you do is because you're cutting the high spots. Anytime you're cutting high spots, you have to have a block. Otherwise, your finger or anything soft will roll over this. And we don't want to sand any of this on this side, right? Like you can see when it starts to smooth out. We're low here, and we're even here. So we stop sanding on that side, but we have to sand right here until we get that down. Also, we don't want to go too far with the 180, because 180 will leave sand scratches. You can see she's starting to flatten out. We have just a couple low spots there. Beautiful. Okay, so we've gone through a couple different sandings. Now we're all the way up to 1500, and our color is starting to really come through. And this is more of like almost a buffing process. And this stuff sands really good. And we're still not through the super glue, which is fantastic. Okay, so now we've got a good little shine there, and you can see the reflection. We're going to jump up to 3000 grit. This is where the shine's really going to start popping. Nice. So you can see that was a dull little point of light before, and now it's starting to sparkle. There's the dull, and there's the sharp. Dull, sharp. I've often struggled on camera showing you guys the shine. This has not even been polished yet. That's just sandpaper. And there's a depth to it. It looks like it's, I don't know, like it's almost coated in amber. It's really, really cool. Very pretty. I like it, and it feels great in the hand, and we haven't even polished it yet. So we're going to run some compound over it real quick, give her a quick polish, and she'll be done. Ready for another 100 years. I have thought about this, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick polish because it is silver. It's going to look nice polished, and everything else looks good. We'll go ahead and just, yeah, let's just knock it out. We could go one step further, give her a little higher polish, and she's got a little schmutz on her. But I like this. It kind of shows, it's got a little character to it. You know, there's a couple dents here. It's old. Okay, while you weren't looking, I went ahead and kind of polished this button up a touch, which we'll need to blacken it up a bit, but let's give it a little. So we'll get that in some bluing solution, as well as the blade, and we'll be done. So I've been needing to order some bluing solution for a long time. I've got a tiny bit of birchwood Casey left, and I shouldn't be touching this with my finger. Yeah, it's not good. About out. The reason I am touching that with my finger, though, is to let it kind of pull in certain spots, but it will turn your finger black. Not good for you. I don't know that I'm going to have enough. Yeah, we're good. Very nice. Alright, we'll get some beauty shots for you guys and let this cure up a little bit. Normally what I would do is use epoxy for all this, but I really want to test that star bond a little further, and so we're just going to let this go like this. Adam will use this regularly, and he'll let me know if there's a problem, and we'll let you guys know if there's a problem. I always love like what my counter looks like when I'm done with a restoration. This is mild because it's primarily just sandpaper. No cool reveal shots today, guys. We'll just let's see. We'll just take a look at her. She came out pretty good. There, of course, is our crack. It's completely sealed. And oh, you know what? I needed to polish this piece up just a tiny bit more. So this is all smoothed in right here. And she looks good, real sharp too. So she'll cut right out of the box. Anywho, so I think Adam will like that. So you definitely want to go check out Adam's channel, and I'm sure he'll be using this on some barbecue. So now it should last for another 100 years, I don't know. Alright guys, I got a bunch of restoration projects, and we'll do those normal style. This was just a fun knife. I wanted to hang out with you guys, and I needed to get this over to Adam because I really wanted him to have it, and I figured we'd just knock one of these out. So there you go, nice polished bone handle. Looks really good. Feels really good in the hand too. So, and I'll show you. So that crack is sealed. See, there's nothing reflecting there. And just from handling it, I think I've tarnished that a little bit. We'll bring the silver back, but yeah, that is 100%, 92.5% silver. All right, guys, I gotta go. Take it easy. Hit the like button and all that stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube.